Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power to Live Your Vision podcast. I am one part of your host. I am Dr. Jessie Bowen. I'm here with my Kickstart partner, Coach Nathan Ray, and we are both
Yeah.
certified coaches, life coaches, mental performance coaches. So, our podcast is us sharing our knowledge and hoping it will help someone to have a better understanding and to be able to make their lives better. So that
Yes,
is the
sir.
purpose of this podcast is to be able to empower others. So, sir, you've been doing okay?
Yes, sir. Hey, happy, radiant, free, shining bright like three diamonds over here. And as you always put it, getting better and better.
Yes, sir. Better and better every day in every way. I get better, better, and better. And everyone in this podcast is sponsored by Elite Publications. We're here to help you publish your book. Tell your
Yeah.
story, empower your life, make changes. Everyone's got a story. You just have to get it out. We're going to be hanging out this weekend in Las Vegas for the release of the commemorative 2026 Who's Who in the Martial Arts Legacy Biography book. And guess what? I'm announcing great news. We have hit international bestseller in
Hey,
Australia. We've hit international bestseller in the UK. We've hit international bestseller in the US. So we are officially
nice.
an international best-selling book. That it's all about vision. And so
Yeah,
today
that's
we're going to
great. Congratulations.
yeah, we're going to talk about, we talk about the power to live your vision, but we really have to get started about being in your own head and how do you embed those thoughts in a positive way to get a positive outcome. So I
Yeah.
know, and we're talking about our topic today is about dynamic meditation and the different types of meditation and the benefit if you're not a meditator knowingly, then you need to, look into meditation, find out what it is, because this is where you can make those empowering changes. I know, we'll start with you, sir. I know that you actually are in a meditation group. So again, everyone, we're
Yeah.
not talking about stuff we don't do. We're
Right.
talking about
Right.
stuff that we do and sharing those experience. So tell us a
Yeah,
little
for
bit
sure.
about the group that you're with.
Well, I like what you just said about unknowingly meditate, because a
Hmm.
lot of people are unknowingly meditating. And I know we might touch on that a little later. And I was one of those people who was, you could say, I've heard it put this way, an unconscious competent. As I was growing up through martial arts, you're doing some forms of meditation that you think this is how it goes, right? You think that you sit and you stare at a candle, or you close your eyes, or you sit and breathe, and you do all these different things unknowingly. We are meditating in different ways. So I was blessed about 2 years ago. I was actually at a restaurant, and I was having the thought that I really want to connect with people, more people, and connect in a genuine way. And I happened across a little flyer about this meditation group. And my first thought was, hey, more people to connect with. Why not? Why not give it a try? And I unknowingly really pushed a button that I would say, when the pupil is ready, the teacher will appear type moment. Because I didn't realize it, but that was going to open up a whole new door for me, because I had always informally meditated, but never had a formal practice. So I went to the group, and we practiced Mayum meditation. And Mayum meditation, I liked it because it has a system to it. There are levels, and so it was reminiscent of the martial arts for me. Now, different meditation methods are out there. I'm not just saying, you all just need to look at this one, but this is just one of the alternatives, because at the end of the day, you got to find what fits you. You got to find what you're drawn to and what inspires you. So anyway, I started my formal meditation practice, and it took my informal practice to a whole nother level exponentially, right? Because now I'm working within a systematic approach to meditation. And the premise of the meditation is very simple. It has nothing to do with anyone's particular religion. So it let me know, okay, I like this. It's universal. It's talking about universal principles of mind and body and life. And so the essence of it, Hanshi, is that we practice what we call throwing it away. You know, the stories that we make up in our mind are only stories. They're just stories. And when we go back through our life, if we can get rid of those stories and free our minds of all those narratives that we give each other. I'll give you a classic example. On the golf course, if you ever want to hear great storytellers, story makers, play golf with people, because when the ball goes the wrong way or something happens, the person immediately has a story that they make up in their mind what happened. And if they had a video of themselves, they might be able to analyze it and see the truth. But most of us don't have a video, so we're out there making up a story in our mind as to what just happened. And I think we do that in life. So in our meditation, is it's really about getting rid of the stories, freeing ourselves, getting rid of those attachments and those discernments and those judgments, number one, about ourselves, and then number two, about our experience. And so we practice consciously saying, I'm letting that go. Let that go. And it's a really beautiful process. And if you think about it, it's natural. When we take on drink and take on food, our body has a system to release it. We take in the nutrients, keep that, and then we release the waste. We let go of the waste. The problem with a lot, or I would say problem, I'll say the challenge with a lot of us in our lives, we're constantly taking on, but then we don't let go and release. So meditation and our practice, and I'm sure other practices, same principles, is to let go and be able to have a natural release mentally, psychologically, and then guess what? That affects us physically.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and on a simpler base, we confuse meditation. First thing people would they type it as some type of Western religion is
Mm,
what one of the first things that happen. Well, you shouldn't do that. But to say the
right.
thing with this, the simplest level of understanding meditation is to release and relax your mind. You cannot go to sleep at night unless you go through some form of meditation. In other
Mm,
words, so now we're talking about the science of meditation. We're now talking about brain frequency. So when
right.
you meditate, no matter what system you do, or when you go to sleep at night, your brain actually has to go to a level, a frequency, so that you can become relaxed. So, and you can. This is really good, things for you to study. Now, I
Yes.
practiced the Silva method training created by Jose
Yeah.
Silva. I became a student. I became a lecturer, uh, seminar facilitator for them, a coach for the Silva Method. So, been studying, meditation now for over 50 years on a formal level. And so,
Mm,
in the Silva Method training, it really breaks down to the science. So, in science, you don't have to fear it because remember, if you
right.
cannot,
Right.
if you're having a problem going to sleep at night, it's because your brain frequency is high. So you cannot go to sleep when you have high brain frequency or if you're at this excited place and so your brain frequency is up, you cannot rest. So when you fatigue and get tired and there's nothing else to do but fall out, and go to sleep, it's because of your brain frequency. And so
Right.
we have our brain frequency, which is like our heartbeat. So our heart beats so many times per minute. Our brain vibrates so many times per second. So you have these different levels of brain frequency. So you have delta brainwave frequency. And so delta is a deep, dreamless sleep and a physical restoration. So this is where, this is some of the earliest brainwave from a child, their first cry, that first breath, so they're in this delta level of deep sleep. And so this is where, your body restores. And if you don't uh, get that type of delta sleep, then you go to a sleep therapist, and they put you on a machine and everything to try to figure out why you're
Right.
not resting at night. And then we
Right.
have theta. Theta brainwave frequency is when you are drowsy, and this is your image stage. This is for your deep meditation. So when
Mm.
you're in theta, this is where you can now project yourself
Mm.
into a movie theater. You can now project
Right.
your project up on the movie screen, and you can evaluate it from all different sides. So when I'm meditating, I'm in this deep, relaxed place, but I'm mentally activated. So when you're in theta, and which is from 4 to 8 hertz per second. So when you're in this particular level, this is another creative level.
Mm.
Alpha is when you are in that calm, alert, relaxed focus, and but you have an inward attention. So in between your theta and your alpha, this is where you're problem solving. This is where you can go to
Mm.
be able to solve problems. And when we go to
Mm.
beta, see now beta is that 12 to 30 hertz. And so what happens here, you're actively thinking, you're in conversation, you're planning, you're doing problem solving. And then you got gamma, which is when somebody's really excited, and uh, their attention is way out there. This is also a good place for learning and interactive information. So
Mm.
that is the science about what happens to us. And the more
Mm.
that we know what happens, the better we can respond to it. So when you're looking to get a restful sleep, then you want your brain wave frequency to be in that theta level, and between theta and alpha. This is where problem solving, dream control, a lot of these things actually happen. So you are already built with these tools that you
Mm.
need to make your life better. You were born with these tools, and everybody uses them, but you may not be aware that you're actually using these tools.
That's a great breakdown. I appreciate that, Hanchi. Because as the young people say these days, they'll say there are levels to this, and they're speaking wisdom. Sometimes they don't even really realize what they're saying, but in truth, what you just broke down are the levels, and the great thing that you also mentioned was that we these are gifts, so they don't cost anyone anything. It doesn't cost you anything to sit and meditate. It's innate. It's characteristics of who we are and what we are, and it's at our disposal. And the other thing is the great benefits that come from meditation. What are some of the greatest benefits that you would share with someone, Hanshi?
Well, I know for myself is just finding my inner peace.
Mm.
So, in other words, when you're meditating, the Silva method uses a countdown system, and the countdown system references numbers. And so, the number 3 is where you begin to relax your eyelids, and you
Mm.
begin to relax your physical body all the way down to your toes, and you let go of all the stress in your body. And then the number 2 is going to your favorite place, the
Mm.
place that you love to be, that you've
Mm.
had the best fun. So you got the physical relaxation, then you have that mental break because your imagination can be very active. And
Yeah.
so when you now can now uh, be at that place of physical relax, you can now go into that next level of now, we'll call it programming. So programming is where,
Yeah.
and again, from dynamic meditation, is where I am now. There's something that maybe I use it for, I someone would say, Jesse, you're mighty creative, but I stay at this level, this alpha level, that's showing me things that could be done, the possibilities, and I'm getting these answers. So guess what? I go and try it,
Right.
and I get more things right than I do wrong.
But see,
you
that's the
know,
key right there. You just said it. That's the big key right there for all of us watching. And make sure, go back and watch this again. You can check us out on Spotify, Roku, YouTube, Facebook. We're all over the place. However, that's a great key right there. The action part. What you just said is a just a ginormous key, which is you said you do it. Not
hmm
only did you raise your awareness about it, but you actually do try it. And I think
right,
that's where a lot of people get stuck. They learn it's cool to learn. I'm a learner. You're a learner. I mean, it's cool to read about it and read what somebody else has done and get inspired. But if you don't take action today and do something with it, you miss out. And I love the second part, if you all caught it, was he said that when he's doing the things, it turns out that as he's doing it, he gets a lot more right than wrong, right? Because he just went into action with it. So I think those are two powerful keys: taking action and not being afraid that you're going to do something wrong or that you're messing up, quote unquote, messing up.
right.
So yeah, that's great. Those I'm taking my notes over here.
Well, and this is what if you wanted to, we got all, scientists say that we have over 70,000 thoughts a day. And that's a lot of thinking. So the question becomes, what are you thinking? That's always
Right.
my big question. So what are you thinking? So when we look at meditation, we can now go to that level, be at peace.
Hmm.
How many people, I don't have to, it's been almost a year since I've been to the beach, but I still hold that memory of
Hmm.
what I was doing, how I felt, and I can bring that back into my existence, my mental existence, and I can now have these feelings of what it felt like to be relaxed. So our mind,
Wow.
records all these feelings, and they can play it back. And when we enter meditation, it allows us to access this information, the information you've heard, information that you've read, because it's all a giant. Your mind is a giant computer. It's
Right.
stored all this stuff. And
Right.
sometimes to be able to access that information, we need to go to a meditative state to be able to have that recall of the information. And I was at Duke University. I taught the mindfulness class for about 16 years. And it was very powerful, and it was a very popular class because the students, they had 50 minutes that they could sleep, you know. But they were learning, even though they may drift off and go to sleep, they were learning, they were in a subconscious level. They're still hearing all the information. The
Right.
recorder is still running. But it was a very popular class because students, they learn now to how to have better listening skills. So if I have you to meditate or go into your meditation stage and say to yourself, when I open my eyes, I will be able to retain the information I've read or the information that I've heard. So you're giving yourself a command on a subconscious level, telling your conscious what you want it to do when you now open your eyes. So again, this is great for kids because kids function at such a low brain frequency. So this is really good to help them to retain information. And, their kids have this very vivid imagination. And as adults, we decide to relinquish and give it up. So,
Right.
looking at kids. So when you think about the dynamics of meditation, you can now, it will help you to improve your focus, your emotional awareness, relaxation, your confidence, your mental clarity. It can help a person connect more deeply with their purpose and turn a clear inner vision into a purpose action. And that's sort of what I do. So when I'm meditating, I've already done Vegas. Vegas is over. I got 2 days before I get there, but it's over. I'm sitting down in the chair and chilling. So I've gone through every step in my mind, written out everything that needs to be done. I've taken in consideration the things that could go wrong, and I made them right. So I,
Yeah.
I am totally aware of everything that's going to be happening several days in front of me. And so when you're doing this, and let's say for an example, you're meditating and you're trying to figure something out, a project you're working on, or a solution to a problem, then you meditate 2, 3 times a day. So you don't
Right.
meditate one time a day, you meditate 2 or 3 times. And you can do that by simply closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, relaxing your body physically, mentally, be in a position that you're not going to go to sleep. And now when you get to your most relaxed place, then you bring that problem, whatever you're thinking about, in front of you and seek the answer to that situation. Okay, so that's what we want to use it. So meditation is not just for becoming relaxed, but meditation is for problem solving and to be able to empower your life.
That's great. Well, I mean, you said a couple of big key things there. Seek. It's like the saying, right? Seek and ye shall find. But if you don't seek, but now you put it with a practice that can help you do that. There's an actual way to do it. That's really great, Hanshi, and that's very powerful. What you're sharing, I like that, and that means that we're not powerless.
Right,
The other point that you mentioned was the power of the imagination
right.
and focusing that to our advantage of problem solving or whatever is going on. So these are several pieces of the same puzzle that I see that we're putting together in a very clear and clean way. And I love it because meditation, as you expressed it here, is simple. You just need to be aware and of your tools, and then you can get some knowledge on how to use them. If you all out there are curious or have questions, should reach out to us. You can get us on our website. What's our website, Hanchi?
www.thepowertoliveyourvision.com.
Yeah, so you all can reach out to us with any questions you have. And last podcast, for those that might have missed it, one of the key points was when you're at a certain place, it's wise to get a coach. It's wise to have someone outside of yourself that can echo back to you based on what you're expressing to them. And so, if you want to learn more about meditation, and you have a few programs out there too, don't you?
I do. Now, you can go to Spotify and you can Google my name. That's the easy way. Go to Spotify. I've just released a program that I wrote. This is a meditation CD. Uh, in the old days, CD, but now it's digital
That's a
download.
download.
Yeah, so you can go to Spotify and you can check out my new program. Like I said, I wrote this program, you know, 15 years ago, and I've just sort of used it for myself. And it's called the Millionaire Mindset.
All
Okay,
right.
that's the Millionaire Mindset. So, you know, someone says, "So what do you? What is that? You want to make $1 million?" Well, sure. Who
Yeah,
doesn't?
why not?
Why not? Why not? Don't listen. Don't when I pull up my Corvette, don't be mad.
That's
you
right.
know,
That's right.
you know. But I'm saying that because because wealth and prosperity is a mindset. Okay, because you got to see those opportunities. You have to be creative in what you're actually doing to be able to be creative. Because if that means that if is being that mindset that I want to create something that a lot of people want to utilize. And so the millionaire mindset is about visualization, meditation, and beginning the manifesting part of being able to do that. As I said before, I have I'm this book that we have coming out in Vegas is marking book number 71. So in this past 10 years, I have written over 70 books. In fact, I've got 4 books right now that I'm personally working on
Right.
because there are things that I'm doing. And that's
Right.
why I said in this meditative state, you find your creativity. What is it that you do that a lot of people would want? You can ask yourself that question in a meditative state and see how many ideas that come to you. I was sitting there last night in a project I thought about, and I just got the urge last night to move on it, and that is, is the title of it is God made you to prosper. In other words, it's about prosperity, and it's about, well, how did God make me in a way that I'm supposed to be prosperous? So again, this is where I am. I'm thinking on these things. I'm sharing them with other people that to be able to get that success. And also, we just released the Zen Healthy Weight Loss System. So I threw away 30 pounds since Christmas. How did I do it? I used hypnosis and a program.
Mm,
I'm a certified sports hypnosis uh, coach. I wrote this program 15 years ago. So I
mm.
created stuff in my past that now I can use in my future. Sometimes you can
Yeah.
be in front of the wheel and you
Yeah.
find that time that okay, now this is the appropriate time for those things.
That's powerful what you just said. Yeah, timing is everything, and the fact that you have it at the right time, you're not behind the eight ball trying to figure something out. You've already produced something that can help yourself, and that goes back to I always try to catch these little keys. But notice everyone what he said. He said I mainly have been using it for myself. And then he said, okay, but now I put it back out here so that I can share it with you all. So that, that's very powerful because that means our life has purpose beyond just what we're trying to get for ourselves. And I think that's another powerful thing that you all can take away from the podcast today. I appreciate you and all the great work that you are doing and at Elite. There's so many great things. I'm always inspired. I'm just like, oh, I got to get busy. Hanti's got four projects and he's working it out. Okay, I got to get going here. So you always keep me moving, and I'm sure you keep the audience moving too.
Well, as I said before, and that's why I want to share about meditation. Someone says, "Tell me about your secret." My secret is in my head. you know, that's
That's
the
where it
secret.
hides out for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's in my head. And and again, between you got to have, being able to go inside yourself, be creative, trust the process, knowing it's about your purpose. You don't have to know the how. Okay, you don't have to know the how. The how, if you are in purpose and you're in this meditative state, the how will show itself. The telephone may
Mm,
ring and someone's got the answer to your problem. Someone
right,
walks up, so there are doors that in your life that you don't have to open,
right,
but you have to be walking towards the door.
right.
Someone
Wow,
else will come up and open that door for you. So
that's
remember,
big.
you don't have to have all the answers. See,
Mm,
then that's what a lot of people try to do. They try to wait until they get all the answers. You see, time's already passed you by. move forward, that the door will open, and getting people to be able to realize that is very powerful. Don't sit on
Yeah.
your knowledge. Don't sit on the information. Share it with someone. Allow your information, your knowledge, to make a difference in someone else's life.
Yeah, very, very powerful. Great show today, Hanshi. I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. I just know what I'm gonna do. I would recommend that you all do, which is go back, watch this again, review it, because I love it. Because when the show gets posted, usually that evening I'll play it again, and then I'll hear 10 or 15 things that I didn't hear earlier. And so it's a great resource for you all that are out here looking for keys. I know for myself, I'm always looking for keys that can help me get to that my next level personally. And so you all rewatch the show, utilize it to grow and take action. It would be the thing that I would say.
Well, we're on Spotify, and of course, Spotify is an app. So therefore, you can, if you have a smart TV, you can get the app for your TV. And when I called you, what was that one day this past week, Sunday or whatever, and I was watching our show on the
All
TV,
right.
and I'm a movie star, you know, you know. So I'm
Yes.
watching the show on TV, and I'm going, man, that's a lot of good stuff,
Yeah.
So everyone, check it out. It's just knowledge, and if you use it, it has the potential to make your life better. If you don't use it, then you never would know what would happen if you did use it. So,
Right.
that's what we want to think about. So again, hanging out this weekend in Las Vegas, go to Amazon, get a copy of the new book, and that is Who's Who in the Martial Arts, biography book. Get a copy, share it with some, empower someone's life, and share the secrets of others. Okay,
Yes,
Nate,
sir.
any last words from you, buddy?
No, no, this is so good. I'm a hush. I'm gonna leave out on the high note.
Well, everyone, again, be blessed, and, follow us, share our information, go to our website, schedule an appointment, ask questions. It's just information. If it
Yes,
makes your
sir.
life better, then it's valuable.
Yes,
Everyone,
sir.
be blessed.